Kevin Hart broke your stand-up box office record.
What record did he break?
He said he broke some record of your box office sales for stand-up.
I don't know. Where did he break?
Eddie Murphy just threw a smooth but savage shot at Kevin Hart, and people are going wild over it. Word on the street is that Kevin's been straight up ducking Katt Williams like his whole career depends on staying out of that smoke. Now Eddie's in the mix and it's getting real spicy. For years, Katt's been poking the bear, calling Kevin names, clowning his comedy, and daring him to face off in a real stand-up battle. But Kevin, man, he's been MIA every single time. Why is he so rattled by just one dude? Let's take it back. Eddie Murphy, he don't usually touch comedy beef. He's the legend who keeps it classy, sits on his throne, and watches from a distance. But in a recent interview, when someone brought up Kevin's name, specifically about Kevin allegedly beating Eddie's box office record, Eddie didn't hold back. He didn't blink. He just dropped a cool but cutting line. What record did he break? I don't know what he break. Then, boom, he reminded everyone that Raw is still the highest grossing stand-up movie of all time. And let's not forget, Eddie hasn't touched a stage in 27 years. Then came the coldest shot dressed in a smile. Eddie smirked and said, "Now I gotta get back on stage because I want that record back, Kevin." That wasn't just a joke, it was a statement. The way he said it, calm, cool. But the shade was loud. It wasn't just funny, it cracked something deeper. See, when a heavyweight like Eddie even hints at questioning your crown, it shakes your whole image. Kevin spent years crafting this super polished, all smiles brand. Big time deals, family friendly jokes, major endorsements. But with one slick comment, Eddie opened the floodgates for people to start questioning what's really behind the image. And that's exactly where Katt Williams rolls in. Katt's not just throwing jokes, he's tearing down the whole system. He's been saying Kevin didn't grind for his spot the hard way. According to Katt, Kevin didn't rise. He was placed, protected, promoted. Not because he was the funniest out, but because he played it safe, kept it corporate, smiled when told, never shook the table. So now the big question is out in the open. Is Kevin Hart really the king of comedy, or just the perfect frontman for the industry's agenda? Someone who knows how to play the game and stay silent about who's really calling the shots behind the curtain? Katt Williams sure doesn't think Kevin earned it fair, and he didn't just throw words, he brought receipts. Katt claimed that for 5 straight years, every major movie Kevin starred in, it landed on his desk first. But here's the kicker. They wanted Katt to play the fool, the clown, the sidekick who gets dragged through the mud. He wasn't feeling that. He turned it down. Next thing he knew, those same roles got passed right to Kevin. Now pause right there. Stack that T next to Eddie Murphy calling out Kevin's so-called record-breaking moment. And suddenly, the narrative shifts. Kevin's climb starts looking way less like pure hustle and way more like a carefully crafted rollout. Like the scripts, the spotlight, even the shine was already waiting for him. Something's not adding up. And people are finally starting to ask the real questions. This right here might be Kevin Hart's biggest nightmare, because once the truth starts echoing loud enough, that polished image he's built could start cracking. And no amount of brand deals or PR spin can patch that up. The last thing Kevin wants? Eddie Murphy running his mouth again. Eddie's little joke might have seemed lighthearted, but let's be real. Legends don't throw shade for no reason. When Eddie speaks, people listen, and the whole tone shifts instantly. Suddenly, folks stop obsessing over box office numbers and start asking the real questions. Like, how exactly did Kevin Hart blow up so fast? Who really had his back behind the scenes? What kind of doors opened magically for him? Doors most people would never even see, let alone walk through. That's when the waters start looking real murky. One situation that's getting fresh attention is that wild Vegas party Kevin threw back in 2010. On the surface, it looked like just another celebrity bash, nothing out of the ordinary. But now, that footage is hitting different. And it ain't sitting right with folks. See, Kevin wasn't just some VIP dropping by with a bottle in hand, he was the one hosting the whole thing. The party wasn't for someone else, it was for Diddy. Kevin even admitted, "I definitely didn't have to do it at the time, so why did he?" That's where things start to twist. Clips from that night have resurfaced, and they're raising more than just eyebrows. One scene shows Kevin jammed into a dimly lit bathroom, packed with women in bikinis, candles flickering, music blasting. The whole vibe was straight chaotic. But then it takes a left turn. One of the women's hair catches fire, and instead of helping, Kevin and the rest just stand there laughing like it was all part of some twisted performance. No shock, no concern, no one rushing in. Just more drinks, more cameras, and more chaos. Watching that now, it don't come off funny. It looks reckless, like seriously messed up. That scene didn't get much buzz back then, but today, with everything else surfacing, people are connecting dots. And this ain't just about one wild night or a tasteless joke. It's about what's been ignored, dismissed, or quietly covered up to keep Kevin's image squeaky clean. Another clip from that same Vegas party shows Kevin talking directly to a camera crew. Calm, cool, collected. He gives a subtle heads up. Don't film near that corner over there. And guess who's sitting right in that very corner? Diddy. No explanation, just a smooth little warning. But the camera drifts for a second, just a quick pan, and it catches a glimpse of that very area behind Kevin. That half-second clip, that's the one that's got the internet on fire. Now everybody's asking, why was Kevin steering the cameras away? What was going on over there that wasn't meant to be seen? Nobody's throwing out wild accusations. This ain't about proving guilt, it's about proximity. Kevin wasn't some background extra. He wasn't just there by chance. He was the host, the one hyping things up, the guy with the mic and the energy, guiding the whole vibe, even when it started veering into dangerous, questionable territory. When that bathroom incident turned risky, Kevin laughed. When the cameras pointed too close to something they maybe shouldn't, he redirected. That level of control, that comfort, it's what has people talking now. Because we're no longer watching that party like it's just some old Hollywood throwback. We're watching it through today's lens with a whole lot more awareness. And in 2024, things hit a whole new level when federal investigators came forward accusing Diddy of running what they called freak-offs, secret, invite-only parties, where all kinds of disturbing behavior allegedly took place. Now suddenly, that old footage isn't just awkward, it's potentially key. Kevin's role in that night is under new light, not because he was doing anything criminal, but because he was there, in the mix, not just attending, but running the whole event. And now people are asking, what did he see and what didn't he say? From those wild Vegas nights with sketchy vibes, to cheating on his wife while she was pregnant, to weak apologies only after fans blew up online. Kevin Hart's story ain't looking like growth. It's looking like survival mode. He don't move like someone learning from mistakes. He moves like someone protecting the brand at all costs. Same strategy every time. Wait till the heat's on, then react just enough to cool things off. That's why people are raising eyebrows. What's even crazier, the circles Kevin kept putting himself in. He didn't just rise to the top. He did it while staying real close to some of the biggest power players in the industry. And now, some of those same names are under serious fire. Diddy, for example, he's facing deep investigations tied to disturbing claims about his private parties and business dealings. Let's be clear, nobody's saying Kevin broke the law. He hasn't been charged with anything. But here's the thing, his name keeps popping up, not because he's guilty, but because he was there, right there, in the rooms at the parties with the people now being questioned. And when someone's that close that often, it's only natural for folks to start wondering, what did he witness? And why didn't he say anything? This isn't about the courtroom, it's about the silence, the positioning, the fact that Kevin was always in the mix, but stayed quiet while storms formed all around him. That silence, it's looking strategic, like everything's been calculated to protect his path up the ladder. And that is why Katt Williams came at Kevin so hard during that no-holds-barred interview on Club Shay Shay in 2024. Katt didn't pull any punches, he tore the curtain down. That sit-down wasn't just gossip, it was a full breakdown of how Katt believes the comedy game's been rigged. And right at the center of that system, Kevin Hart. For Katt, this ain't about beef, it's about structure, about how the system pushed Kevin straight to the top, while other comics had to claw their way up for years. Katt called it out, clear and raw. Most comedians grind for decades, hitting up tiny clubs, hustling across cities, barely scraping by. Kevin, he skipped all that. No horror stories, no broke tour life, just a smooth rocket ride to the spotlight. Katt said what a lot of folks have been whispering behind closed doors. Kevin didn't just blow up, he was boosted, quietly, carefully, by people in power who wanted a certain kind of face with a certain kind of style. And Katt didn't stop there. He dragged out the inconsistencies in Kevin's own Netflix doc with Chris Rock, the one that tried to paint Kevin as a scrappy East Coast underdog, but Katt wasn't buying it. He pointed out the timeline didn't even add up. If Kevin was out grinding in Philly and New York, like he claimed, then how was he also planted in LA, working the scene there too? Katt said it straight. So how was he here in LA doing all that too? It didn't happen. And just like that, the word plant came back into the spotlight. No longer a joke, but a real accusation. According to Katt, a plant isn't just someone getting lucky, it's someone placed in the system, fast-tracked, given the golden path, the roles, the platforms, the shine, and then presented to the world like they clawed for it, like they earned it the hard way, when really, it was handed to them. From Katt's view, Kevin's whole climb looked too perfect, too clean, too staged, and the deeper folks dig, the more that version of the story starts to crack. Everything was lining up like a comeback movie script. Kevin Hart had promised to help Monique get her talk show back on track, and she was pumped. I mean, who wouldn't be? Having Kevin's name on a production? That's an open door to everything in Hollywood. Monique was so confident, she hit up her team at Endemol, the powerhouse behind her show, and told them the big news. They were excited, no hesitation, ready to roll with it. A major name like Kevin Hart back in the project, that could have changed the game for her career. It looked like the stars were finally aligning, but then, boom, plot twist. Just 2 weeks later, Monique got blindsided. Out of nowhere, Endemol hit her with a call that flipped everything upside down. Kevin's manager, Dave Becky, had reached out to say Kevin was backing out. Cold feet, no heads up, no real reason, just poof, gone. Monique was confused, hurt, stunned. She tried to get answers, reaching out to Kevin directly, and when she finally got him on the phone, he didn't give her clarity, just brushed it off with a vague, "We'll talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it." But Tuesday came and went. No call, no follow-up. And now, it's been 2 whole years. Still silence, not a single word from Kevin. Now the internet's buzzing and people ain't letting this slide. Fans, followers, and online sleuths are connecting dots and throwing serious side-eye. Some folks think Kevin ghosted Monique on purpose, like maybe he never actually planned to help her out, just said what sounded good in the moment to keep things chill. But here's where it gets messy, the rumors. Loud whispers are saying Kevin might have backed out to protect his spot with Hollywood's gatekeepers. Big names like Oprah and Tyler Perry were already beefing with Monique at the time, so maybe Kevin thought standing by her would have meant burning bridges he couldn't afford to lose. And that's the million-dollar question. Was Kevin ever really trying to help? Or was he just playing both sides, telling Monique one thing while staying cozy with the elite behind the scenes? Because let's be real, if Kevin had publicly backed Monique, it might have cost him everything. His brand, his access, his network, the whole machine that keeps him shining. Maybe he just wasn't ready to take that kind of hit. But then came Eddie Murphy, and that changed the whole vibe. Eddie's comments didn't come from a hater. They came from a legend. And that's what shook the foundation. He cracked the polished shell around Kevin Hart's empire with just a few slick words. That wasn't some bitter gossip. That was a heavyweight calling out the real. And once Eddie speaks, it gives everyone else permission to look a little deeper. Because when someone like him questions your legacy, it's not petty, it's serious. It's not hate, it's judgment. And once that kind of respect starts slipping, no number of followers, no sold out arena, no Netflix deal can fix it. So now the real question ain't whether Kevin's successful, it's how he got there and what it's gonna cost to keep that seat at the top. If you made it all the way through this breakdown, smash that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear everything. And don't forget to subscribe because trust this story. We're only getting started. See you in the next one.